Listen closely. The world doesn't care about your feelings, your intentions, or your dreams. It simply is. Most people move through it like ghosts. They are docile, easily distracted, and constantly waiting to be told what to do, what to think, and how to feel. They are consumed by endless scrolling, drowning themselves in a sea of fleeting comfort and obeying without question. They are predictable, easily replaced, and ultimately forgotten. But if you are here, something inside you refuses that fate. You sense a truth that few dare to admit. Survival isn't enough. True power belongs to the educated, the disciplined, and the untouchable. This requires something far more profound than talent or luck. It requires a relentless strategy, a deliberate path to mastery. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He saw that those who arm their minds become ungovernable. Knowledge is the one weapon no tyrant can strip away. Every book you read, every idea you absorb, every truth you master. These are not just facts. They are ammunition. Each day you sharpen your mind, you are widening the gap between yourself and the masses who have already surrendered to the noise of the world. If you want to dominate your life, you must build a fortress inside your skull. You must feed your mind as if your very existence depends on it, because it does. Today, I hand you the Machiavelli principle. The world you navigate is not a playground. It's a battlefield. Every conversation, every negotiation, every decision you make. These are not casual exchanges. They are subtle wars of influence and perception. Most people are so preoccupied with their day-to-day existence that they don't even realize they are in a constant state of combat. They are losing before they even begin because they are unarmed. Knowledge is your armor and your blade. When you dedicate yourself to daily learning, you are gathering critical intelligence. You are studying human nature, understanding the systems of power that govern our world, and recognizing the historical patterns that drive events. You begin to see the hidden vulnerabilities in people, the structural weaknesses in organizations, and the opportunities hiding in plain sight. To the untrained eye, these are invisible, but to you, they are blindingly obvious. You are no longer just reacting to the world. You are anticipating it. But here is a crucial truth. Knowledge is worthless without application. Reading without reflection and practice is like sharpening a sword you never intend to wield. To truly master this battlefield, you must test what you learn in the real world. Observe people, experiment with different approaches, and manipulate outcomes. You will begin to refine your instincts until you can predict human behavior with cold, calculated precision. Machiavelli knew this to be a fundamental truth of power. The masses are but emotional machines, and the one who understands their levers is the one who can move them. You will learn that people are often puppets, pulled by the strings of their own emotions, and with enough discipline, you can learn to pull those strings yourself. This path, however, comes with a profound paradox. The more you learn, the lonelier you become. You'll start to see how shallow most people are, how utterly unprepared they are for the battles of life. You will walk among them like a wolf among sheep, seeing a reality they are completely oblivious to. This isn't a boast. It's a cold, hard fact of the journey. The pursuit of knowledge separates you from the herd. Pause. Right now, engrave this into your mind and let it guide every action. Knowledge is my weapon. On this battlefield, ignorance isn't just a disadvantage. It's death. Power does not come in a single, explosive burst of effort. It is forged in the quiet, relentless fire of daily discipline. Every single day, you must commit to feeding your mind with something sharper, stronger, and more dangerous than the day before. This is the discipline of daily education, a quiet ritual that separates the rulers from the ruled. Most people, the vast majority, waste their mornings in a state of distraction. They scroll through an endless feed of noise, gossip, and trivialities. A Machiavellian mind, however, does not. You rise, and before the world has a chance to corrupt you with its chaos, you inject order into yourself. You read, you study, you absorb the strategies of history's greatest conquerors. You dissect the failures of men who lost everything. You train your mind the way a soldier sharpens his blade, relentlessly, without excuse. Why? Because ignorance is a form of slavery. The man who fails to educate himself every day becomes prey. He is manipulated by propaganda, enslaved by fleeting trends, and ruled by those who understand psychology better than he does. He is a pawn on someone else's board, his every move choreographed by forces he can't even perceive. But the man who learns daily, quietly, relentlessly, becomes unpredictable. He cannot be easily deceived, persuaded, or controlled. That, my friends, is real freedom. Do not mistake this for academic trivia. You are not just filling your head with useless facts. You are constructing a fortress of principles, strategies, and mental models. You are programming yourself to think not just 1 or 2 moves ahead, but 5 moves ahead. Every page you read, every lecture you watch, every thought you analyze, it compounds on itself. It's like compound interest for the mind. And in time, you will stand so far ahead of the average person that they won't even be able to comprehend how you think. This path demands sacrifice. Entertainment loses its appeal. Mediocre company becomes a drain on your energy. You are trading comfort for clarity, distraction for dominance. And soon, you will come to a profound realization. While others are lost in a sea of noise, you are living in a state of complete control. This isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about becoming your own master. Pause. Comment this right now. Discipline builds empires. Let this echo in your mind every single day. Remember, those who fail to educate themselves are pawns on a chessboard. Those who embrace daily discipline, however, are the ones who become kings. True power is not a matter of luck or charm. It's about control. Control over yourself first, and only then control over others. The Machiavellian understands this truth better than anyone. If you cannot control your own impulses, your own fears, your own cravings, then you will inevitably be ruled by those who can. Control begins internally. You must master your emotions until they serve you, rather than enslave you. Anger, fear, lust, and greed are not weaknesses. They are tools. The average person reacts to these emotions like a puppet whose strings are being jerked uncontrollably. You, however, must learn to pause, to calculate, and to strike only when it is profitable. That is the essence of cold power psychology. You and you alone decide when to reveal, when to conceal, and when to destroy. Once you have disciplined your own psychology, the next logical step is to understand and influence others. People are not rational creatures. They are emotional machines. They crave validation, they fear rejection, and they beg for direction. Learn this and you can guide them without resistance. You don't force people to do what you want. You make them believe they are choosing freely. That is the true art of manipulation. Study their weaknesses. Observe their body language. Listen not just to what they say, but to what they don't say. Machiavelli observed that every man has a crack in his armor, an insecurity, a blind spot, a hidden hunger. Your job is to find it and, if necessary, exploit it. That is how kings rule without ever having to lift a sword. But here is the profound paradox of control. It must be invisible. The best manipulator never looks like one. He appears calm, generous, even harmless. He hides his power behind a mask of humility while silently pulling every string in the room. This is why Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, because love is fragile, but fear endures." When you master both fear and admiration, you become truly untouchable. Pause. Comment this right now. I am the one who pulls the strings. Engrave this into your identity. It is not about arrogance. It is about survival and dominance. Never forget, the man who controls himself commands respect. The man who controls others commands history. This is the psychology of control. Without it, you are just another pawn on someone else's board. Understand this. What people don't know about you is far more powerful than what they do. Information is leverage. The moment you reveal too much, you become predictable, vulnerable, and easily destroyed. The Machiavellian principle is simple. Reveal little, conceal much. Most people are desperate for attention. They spill their thoughts on social media, confess their weaknesses to so-called friends, and announce their plans before they even have the strength to execute them. This is self-sabotage. The more others know, the more they can anticipate you, trap you, and use your own words against you. The man who practices secrecy, however, moves like a shadow. He speaks less, listens more, and never exposes his true intentions until the precise moment of execution. Secrecy is not just silence. It is a profound strategy. You give people just enough information to mislead them, to make them believe they know you when, in truth, they know nothing at all. A carefully crafted mask or an image is often far more effective than honesty. Why? Because honesty exposes your true self, but secrecy allows you to manipulate perception. Think of power like a game of chess. The amateur player brags about his next move, showing his hand in excitement. The master, by contrast, conceals his strategy, drawing his opponent into traps they cannot escape. This is how empires are built, not through transparency, but through strategic deception and calculated disclosure. But secrecy does more than just protect you. It intimidates. Mystery creates a deep-seated curiosity, and curiosity, in turn, breeds fear. When people cannot predict you, they cannot control you. They begin to respect you and even fear you, because uncertainty is a terrifying state for the human mind. The wolf that howls can be hunted. The wolf that moves silently in the dark is unstoppable. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself completely. Secrecy is selective. Share information with purpose, but only what serves your overarching strategy. If you must reveal only what strengthens your image, never what weakens it. Machiavelli saw that even a loyal friend can be bought, so protect yourself by keeping the deepest parts of your strategy hidden. When you master secrecy, you become untouchable. People can gossip, speculate, and assume, but they will never truly know. And the less they know, the more power you hold. Pause. Comment this right now. My silence is my shield. This shield will protect you when words would betray you. The greatest rulers in history were not the loudest. They were the most calculated, the most unreadable, and the most disciplined in what they chose to conceal. That is why their enemies never saw the strike until it was too late. This is the power of secrecy. Use it wisely, and you will move through life like a ghost. Felt, feared, but never fully understood. Hesitation is a silent killer. It's a weakness that invites attack. In a world built on relentless competition, indecision isn't neutral. It is lethal. The man who hesitates loses opportunities, sacrifices respect, and ultimately loses himself. The Machiavellian principle is unyielding. When the time comes to act, you must act ruthlessly. Most people drown in the sea of their own indecisiveness. They overthink, second-guess, and wait for the perfect conditions that will never arrive. Meanwhile, decisive men like Caesar, who crossed the Rubicon with no guarantees, and Alexander, who burned his ships to make retreat impossible, carve their names into history. Machiavelli himself taught that fortune favors the bold, not the timid. Ruthlessness is not recklessness. It is cold clarity. It means you calculate and prepare, and when the moment comes, you strike with surgical precision, without apology, hesitation, or wasted motion. Your decision must be final, and your execution absolute, because nothing erodes authority faster than doubt. People are instinctively drawn to strength. They gravitate toward those who radiate certainty, even when the outcome is uncertain. The man who decides quickly and firmly becomes the axis around which others revolve. He shapes reality by refusing to waver. The hesitant man, on the other hand, becomes a forgotten echo. Love is fragile. It bends with emotion, shifts with moods, and dies when it no longer serves the one who gives it. Fear, however, is a different kind of force. It endures. It etches itself into the human mind, branding itself into memory. Machiavelli taught that if you must choose between being loved and being feared, always choose fear. Why? Because fear commands loyalty even when love falters. But understand, we are not speaking of reckless cruelty. Fear used without intelligence creates tyrants who burn brightly and fall violently. The Machiavellian principle is not about chaos. It is about control. Fear must be calculated, precise, and deliberate, wielded like a surgeon's blade, not a butcher's cleaver. So what does this mean for you? It means you must cultivate a reputation that punishes betrayal, disloyalty, and disrespect without a moment of hesitation. People must understand, whether consciously or instinctively, that stepping against you comes with a cost. It doesn't have to be a physical cost. It could be social, financial, or psychological, but it must be real and it must be remembered. Most people fail here. They want to be liked, to be approved of. They shy away from confrontation, hoping kindness will earn them respect. But kindness without power is weakness, and weakness invites predators. By contrast, when people sense you will strike back calmly, decisively, and without apology, they will tread carefully. They will measure their words around you. That is the power of calculated fear. Fear is effective because it taps into the deepest layers of human psychology. Love asks for choice. Fear removes it. When a man fears the consequences, he obeys. When he obeys long enough, obedience becomes a habit, and that habit becomes power for you. But here is the subtlety. Too much fear without respect makes you hated, and hatred breeds plots. Too little fear makes you ignored. The Machiavellian balance is this: you must never be cruel for sport or harsh without reason. Your ruthlessness must always appear justified, necessary, and controlled. People may whisper that you are dangerous, but they must also admit that you are fair. This is the balance that keeps fear clean and effective. When you master this balance, something fascinating happens. Even those who dislike you will protect you. Why? Because they fear losing the stability your presence provides. History shows this again and again. Ruthless leaders endure because they make themselves necessary, and fear of chaos keeps the herd loyal. The average man bends under pressure, seeks forgiveness, and begs for understanding. You must be the opposite. When challenged, you stand immovable. When betrayed, you punish swiftly. When tested, you escalate beyond what is expected. This burns the lesson into memory. Never cross you twice. Fear also grants you freedom. The man who is loved must constantly entertain and please. But the man who is feared commands respect without performance. His silence is enough. His presence is enough. His reputation does all the work. But remember, fear alone is not enough. It must be cloaked in discipline, wisdom, and restraint. The wolf that snarls at everything starves. The wolf that strikes only when necessary rules the forest. That is the kind of fear you must embody. Silent, patient, and controlled until the strike. Machiavelli was right. Love is voluntary, and men betray what they choose. Fear is involuntary, and men cannot betray what terrifies them. This is why the great rulers, conquerors, and strategists all wielded fear like a weapon, not out of sadism, but out of necessity. So embrace it, cultivate it, and balance it with respect, but never trade it for love. Love fades. Fear endures. And endurance is power. This is the calculated use of fear, and when you master it, you will walk through life untouchable because even those who despise you will never dare defy you. Every empire begins with a fortress. Every king, every ruler, every conqueror understands this truth. Without a stronghold, you cannot defend, expand, or endure. For you, that fortress is not built of stone. It is built inside your skull, the fortress of the mind. Most people leave their minds unguarded like an open city. They let fear, weakness, and other people's opinions invade. They then wonder why they collapse under pressure, are manipulated, and are forgotten. It's because they never built their walls. Your mind must be fortified. This means no enemy thought, no poisonous doubt, no external distraction enters without your permission. You become the gatekeeper. You decide what information strengthens you and what weakens you. You learn to filter noise from signal, illusion from truth. Education, daily, disciplined, and relentless, is the stone you use to build those walls. Stoicism, the refusal to be ruled by emotion, is the iron gate that protects them. Inside this fortress, you cultivate resilience. Pain will not break you. Criticism will not shake you. And fear will not enslave you. You will feel all of these things, but you will master them, use them, and convert them into fuel. That is what makes the fortress unreachable. But a fortress is not just for defense. It is also a command center. From within it, you observe the world with sharp eyes. You study your enemies without them knowing. You plan moves they cannot anticipate, and when you act, it is not out of reaction, it is out of design. The fortress of the mind ensures you are never pulled into someone else's strategy. You are always executing your own. The Machiavellian principle is simple. Control yourself completely, and no one can control you. He who rules his mind rules his destiny. He who fails to rule it becomes a slave to every influence and manipulation. Building this fortress is a lonely path. When you cut off distractions and remove weak influences, you isolate yourself. But solitude is the training ground of strength. Alone in the fortress, you sharpen your mind into a blade no one can dull. This is the end game. Everything until now has been preparation. The daily education, the discipline, the control of self and others, the power of secrecy, the ruthlessness of decision, the weaponization of fear, the shaping of perception, the fortress of the mind. All of it was leading here to becoming untouchable. What does it mean to be untouchable? It means you move through the world with such mastery that nothing external can destroy you. Betrayal cannot collapse you. Setbacks cannot shake you. And enemies cannot break you. You bend reality to your will because you are no longer playing the same fragile game as everyone else. You stand above it. The untouchable man is not reckless. He is calculated. He is not loud. He is deliberate. He is not desperate for approval. He is feared, respected, and observed in silence. His power comes not from luck or inheritance, but from discipline sharpened over time. He has educated himself until his mind became a weapon. He has practiced restraint until his emotions serve him instead of enslaving him. He has mastered perception so thoroughly that people follow his shadow without ever seeing the man behind it. To be untouchable is to become a paradox. Distant yet magnetic, silent yet commanding, feared yet admired. People cannot figure you out, so they elevate you. They cannot predict you, so they respect you. They cannot shake you, so they submit to you. This is where Machiavelli's principle reaches its peak. Most men are ruled by their desires and fears. You, however, become the ruler because you have cut those strings. You are not destroyed by fear, though you may create it. You are not consumed by emotion, though you may project it. You play every role while remaining untouched by any of them. This path demands sacrifice. You will lose comfort, outgrow friends, and step away from shallow distractions. But in exchange, you gain something greater. Independence, freedom, and command over yourself and others. Pause. Comment this right now. I am becoming untouchable. This is not just an idea. It is a transformation, a rebirth into power. The secret most never learn is that becoming untouchable is not about dominating others endlessly. It is about reaching a state where others cannot dominate you. It's where no insult, loss, or betrayal can dismantle the fortress within. You are always composed, always ready, always in control. Take everything you have learned, the battlefield of knowledge, the discipline of education, the psychology of control, the art of secrecy, the ruthlessness of decision, the calculated use of fear, the shaping of perception, the fortress of the mind, and fuse them into one. Make them inseparable from who you are. Live it every day, with every decision, with every silence, with every move. Because when you do, you will no longer be just another man in the crowd. You will be the shadow above them, the wolf among sheep, the king among pawns. This is how you stay ahead of 99% of people. This is how you rise. This is how you become untouchable.